I'm doing everything like a soldier because I want to get through this. I want to be able to then tell other people how to do it. And I want to get the best results, just like I did with bodybuilding. I didn't bodybuild half-assed. I didn't miss meals. I didn't miss workouts because I wanted to get the best results so that when I was up on stage, I could say, you know what, this is the best I can do.
I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind, to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
And we are back for another installment of Heavy Muscle Radio. Of course, I am still in the hospital in Fort Myers, Florida. I'm joined, of course, by the technician, Chris Aceto. Chris, did you miss me last week, even though I did make a little cameo?
No, you had a great cameo. And I was wondering where you were by looking at that background. I thought you were in like the snake pit or something.
Yeah. I tried to shut the bathroom door so it didn't look too bad.
Yeah.
I'm using natural light from outside. It doesn't seem that strong, but
no, it looks good. You look good. You look healthy.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the old shadow effect, the Marlon Brando shadow effect, as my father would say.
Only let the camera, like Trump, see you from one side. A lot of people don't like to see him on both sides. They have a special side. What is your special side? What is your better side, Dave?
I don't even know. I think this is my left side. My father had his special side. The worst person you could ever take a picture of was my father, because he'd be like, "Here, take a picture of me right now. I look good." And I'd be like, "All right." So I get the camera out. Back then, it was probably one of those throwaway cameras, or maybe even a digital camera. And he'd like pose himself. He'd be like, "All right." He would never smile for some reason, my father. I don't know why. He wanted this like tough guy look. And he would scream. And I would show him the pictures on like the digital camera, and he would be like, "The lighting is terrible.
Yeah.
Look, you got it on you." He would scream. And he was the worst person to take a picture of. And then every once in a while, you snap a cell phone picture of him by accident, and he'd be like, "Let me see that picture. That's the best picture I've ever seen of myself." Like no preparation whatsoever.
Well, his expectations were, there was a disconnect between what the picture actually showed. A lot of times bodybuilders do that when they think they're in shape, right? They say, "I look great," Then they look at pictures of themselves and say, "Geez, I'm still not in good shape."
My father was talking to this woman on the phone from Rybrook or something like that up in Westchester. Nice lady. 8 years he talked to her on the phone, never met her. And they used to send each other pictures. And he was sending her pictures of like when he was like 25. I'm like, "Dad, you don't look like this anymore." I mean, I know she knows you don't look like this. Why are you sending her pictures of 25?
How did he meet her?
I think I think he met her on the last of the Mohegans. Remember they used to have that New Yorker magazine? You probably read it for the real estate, but in the back they had like a personal ad thing. And I think he posted an ad in there or something like that. Yeah. Which also, I think if you posted an ad back there, it would also post it on their website, because my father knew nothing about websites. So he definitely called in the ad, I'm sure. And she probably, whether she saw it in the magazine herself or on the website, I don't know. But for people who don't even know what we're talking about, people used to post like, "Hey, Sal, 55 years old, single, widowed, father, school teacher, looking to meet so-and-so." And people would post these ads in the newspaper or in magazine. The New Yorker was supposed to be like it
was Tinder before there was Tinder.
The New Yorker was supposed to be for like wealthy people, except my father wasn't wealthy. I don't know why he was always posting his picture in there, but his ad in there. And every once in a while he'd spring, like every 6 months he'd be like, I'm gonna run an ad. I'm like, all right, whatever. And he'd get a lot of letters actually from these women.
He's a writer, so I mean, he could write letters back to people pre-email.
That's how he would sweet talk these women with the letters, and then and then he'd be like, "I don't drive, and I don't like to go out at night, and I don't like he had all his like all the stipulations.
Give him a list of the negatives.
Yeah. List right off the bat. He'd give you all the negatives, right? And
yeah.
If you want to hang around,
if you don't like it, move on. That's what that was meant to do.
Yep, 100%. So I've been in the hospital now. I had my surgery. It's been over a week, so I've been here about 10 days.
Yeah.
I might actually make it to 2 full weeks here, which is unheard of usually because they usually send you home after 5 to 7 days. But as you know, I still need one more little procedure. I'm just waiting for either Tuesday or Wednesday. Hopefully morning they're going to do it. And it's not really anything big. It's just they got to do it. And then hopefully they'll release me. So I'm kind of just chilling out here. What I've done, Chris, and a lot of people have asked me, how do you stay in the hospital? How are you not bored? How are you dealing with the whole surgery thing you had to do? And what I did was the same thing I did when I had to go to prison for 5 months. 5 months, 20 weeks. I'm treating it like contest prep. I'm so neurotically organized, Chris, here, because there's nothing to do here anyway. So I have my laptop, obviously, so I can do my work and record videos and do whatever I got to do. Answer my emails. And then what I did was I have set up my meals down at the meal place when they bring it up. I get double meals. So I get, like for breakfast, instead of just eggs and grits, because I've customized all my meals, I get 2 things of eggs and 2 things of grits with a thing of fruit. And I do the same thing for lunch. Lunch is chicken breast. I get 2 chicken breasts with a, double rice and whatever else, and 2 salads. And I do the same. And for dinner, I get 2 salmons or 2 pollock fish. So I have fish for dinner with rice, corn, and like some salads. And what I do is I split it up. I have one meal, and then 2 hours later, I have the next meal. And by that time, lunch is here. I do the same thing at dinner. And then after dinner, I finish my second dinner at like 7 o'clock. And then I have like a Quest cookie or something like that, like at 9 o'clock. And I walk, they want you walking because they don't want you to get a blood clot. So I am now up to 12 laps, which is about 3/4 of a mile. I walk continuously. And I do that 3 times a day, Chris. And in between, I come back and I have like whatever my next meal is, and then I take a nap. So I'm basically back on the contest prep we used to do back in the 90s when we had no responsibility, no children, nothing, no jobs. And that is what I am doing. And I'm treating it as such. And believe me, the food is very bland because they don't put any salt on it, and I don't care. It's clean. But I'm probably eating more now than I was before I went into the hospital, in terms of protein stuff.
What about the phone?
Well, I got my cell phone there, and I got all my creature comforts with me. So the only thing I don't have is my kids, which is probably would be more of a source of stress at this point.
Yeah, they'd have to bring you back into surgery with them there. If they were staying in the room next door, the noise and the pounding and
yes. And
Mr. Palumbo, your son just broke something over here. The bill is, you don't want an aspirin, like a Tylenol is like the whole bottle's $12 at the pharmacy, and one Tylenol is like $300 at the hospital. Yeah. He just broke the bed. It's like $63,000.
Right, exactly. And the reason I even mention this whole routine to people is because, by the way, I go to bed at like, usually I got them to give me a half a Xanax because I can't sleep in the bed because I'm still feel like I'm gasping for air. So I sleep in the chair. They give me a quarter milligram of Xanax. Literally, it's like nothing. For most people, they probably would be out partying on it. I take it at 9. By 10 o'clock, I'm out. And then, they come in and they torture you every 2 hours, taking vitals and stuff like that. But then I could usually stay in bed till about 4:35. And then I get up and I start my whole routine at 5 a.m. And the reason I do this, and I tell people this because this is a life lesson. I'm not just telling you this to entertain you. You have to come up with a game plan to get through anything in life that requires difficulty, okay? I remember Mike Tyson had a good quote. He said, Cus D'Amato, his trainer, told him that take the things you hate the most and pretend you love them. And so, in other words, the things you don't want to do the most, if you don't want to go run and you don't want to go, train every day, when you do it, pretend you love it more than anything in life, because that's how you get good at things. Same thing with anything adversity you have to go through. You have to regiment yourself and create a schedule for yourself so that you there's not a minute of the day that's not accounted for, because this way you can just follow a schedule. And, being bodybuilders, Chris, we should have no problem doing it. It's not like I have to teach. There's no new skill that you need to use here. You use the same skill you used when you competed. When you competed, you ate your 6 meals. You never missed a meal, Chris. You did your cardio twice a day. You did your gym workout. You came home, took a nap if you had the luxury of being able to do that. You took your vitamins. Everything was on schedule because the show is the most important. You tanned. You went in the burn beds over there, got skin cancer. And, you repeated the same thing every day until the contest was over. And that's just the way.
Yeah, then it was over. Then you hated it because you missed the discipline of it all. If you were really nuts,
Yeah. And you're right. I'm getting a little fucking OCD high on this whole little process here, which is going to come to an end in a couple of days after I go home. But, as far as what I'm doing here is it really has helped, I think, my recovery process. This little inspirometer they have here, it's like a little thing you suck in and they want to see it raises the ball up. I think I told you about this thing. Yeah. I've been when I got it right out of surgery, I was at about 1,000. I have it up to the top, 4,000, because every day I work that thing as though I'm like I'm doing the bench press or squats, and and that's helping your lung capacity, and so your lungs don't collapse, you don't get fluid around your heart and lungs. So I'm doing everything like a soldier because I want to get through this. I want to be able to then tell other people how to do it. And I want to get the best results, just like I did with bodybuilding. I didn't bodybuild half-assed. I didn't miss meals. I didn't miss workouts because I wanted to get the best results so that when I was up on stage, I could say, you know what, this is the best I can do. Oh. And so if you guys can take a page out of my book here and learn anything about what I just told you, it's that when you have a lot of difficult things to go through, where you're going through, whether it be a health issue, whether it be a bodybuilding show, a new job, you got to create a schedule for yourself and stick to it. I can't tell you how many people, contact me. They're like, oh, I can't eat. I have to put my food in bags and I can't, I miss meals at work. I'm like, why? I was telling them, I have this nurse. This guy would probably be a great bodybuilder if he ever applied himself. He was like, I'm like, why are you only eating twice a day? Because he's telling me, oh, I eat twice a day. And I overeat at night and then I have indigestion all night. I said, take one of those Quest protein cookies I have here. Why can't you eat one of these during the day? Put it in your pocket. He said, I guess I could. And I was explaining to him how eating multiple times a day is better for your metabolism and building muscle and stuff like that. And they literally have a Crunch Fitness right next door here. I mean, you can see it from my window. So these nurses here have no excuse, why they wouldn't go work out. I mean, I said, come in 20 minutes early to work and go work out.
Maybe you can make a little money there, Dave, to help you defray the cost of the broken bed that your son broke next door, and have like a diet course for the doctors and nurses, right?
There you go. Yeah, you know what the funny thing is, Chris?
Because I saw your breakfast, and I was worried when I saw it.
Well, yeah, that was the first day until I got myself off the cardiac breakfast. Now I'm on the day Palumbo breakfast again. So I'm on the Dave Palumbo diet, but I've completely changed my diet. So because I have a really good nurse here, and she removed me from the. I'm like, why am I on the cardiac diet when I don't have any cholesterol problems? I said, yeah, I'm here for an aorta repair. I'm not here for a triple bypass. She's like, that's a good point. I'll take you off the diet. How about you just call down and order your food? I said, great. And I told them when I called down, they're really nice down there. I said, here, this is what I want for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She's like, all right, what do you want for tomorrow? I said, I want the same thing every single day. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to give me any variation. I'll take the same thing every day. No complications. There should be no mistakes. And she's like, okay, all good. So it was great. I've been doing good. But it's like I said, it's anything in life is a challenge, and there's you don't feel good sometimes. But I found that since I've regimented myself to the degree that I have, my recovery is going much better, faster. I'm in a better mental place, and that's what it's all about. I think that you got to turn everything into a system. You have to have a system for what you do, because otherwise, if you don't, it's the old saying: if you don't prepare, you prepare to fail, right?
Yep.
So, having said that, that's my update. and I saw a video Sid sent me. I said that Jay Cutler was posing. Is Jay? Because you always got the inside scoop because you talk to Jay all the time. Is Jay thinking about doing the Masters Olympia?
Oh God! Stop promoting that Masters Olympia. I want to pull the plug on it. The more I think of it, no, he's getting. He's going to be 60, right? What is he getting in shape for his 50th birthday?
No, it's going to be 50. It's 50.
It's going to be 50.
Don't. Yeah. I mean, he looks pretty good.
Yeah,
what do you? Has he talked to you about anything, or is he just doing that for like a transformation for his channel?
No, I haven't talked to him about it, but I saw it and he looks incredible. Look at the pecs. Look at the shoulders. Look at the triceps. Strided.
He's very big. He's very big.
Huh?
He's very big for
Dude,
his age.
He's gigantic for. This is 10 minutes a day of training, I'm sure. Look at the quad.
Believe it. I don't believe it. Jay is the hardest working guy who doesn't compete anymore. I can't figure him out. Maybe you can give me insights into Jay. Jay probably is wealthier than any other bodybuilder aside from Arnold in our industry, right? He doesn't need the money, but he's the hardest working guy who doesn't need the money that I've ever seen. All he does is make videos and he's promoting his supplement line and now he's doing a transformation. Is it that he doesn't really have anything to do? Is he bored or does he just love to, the whole process?
No, he loves discipline. He loves the process. He's creative. He likes setting goals. He likes accomplishing goals. He loves business, and he likes, doing cutting edge things that, I mean, how many former Mr. Olympias would do I'm going to get in shape at 50 and take it serious,
That's what I'm wondering.
He's got his interview show. He's always doing something that, he doesn't have to do any of it. Because you're right. Outside of Arnold, who has that type of bank account? No.
Given that you do have obviously a good, a very close telephone line to Jay, you guys talk all the time. Would you think he'd ever call you up and say, hey, Chris, what do you think about the Masters Olympia? Or you think there's no reality to it?
Never. Okay. Not even a on a scale of 1 to 10, it doesn't register in his brain for doing a master show or anything.
No, I'm just thinking, maybe he at 50 years old, has something he wants to see if he still got it. And, you get some people.
No, because I'm sure his take is the same as mine. And that's my rant on the Olympia. The Masters Olympia, for the most part, is like saying we're going to have, a Playboy Bunny reunion show.
They're not going to look like they did when they were 20, no, they're.
Yeah, no, they're not going to look like the 20s and 30s. Neither of, the competitors for the most part. And, it's, you might get someone coming in who could never in their prime.
Right.
Well, let's just see where it goes. That's the take on it.
Remember Don Youngblood? Don Youngblood won the Masters Olympia. No one even knows who he is, I guarantee it.
Well, and there goes my reason for not having a Masters Olympia, Dave. Full stop.
Yeah.
No one listening to this show knows who he is.
Oh, it's probably someone does, but probably not many people.
I don't mean that in a negative way to like, against.
By the way, he was one of the nicest guys too.
Well, I shouldn't have to preference it with, I don't mean it in a negative way, but a fact is a fact. People don't know who he is, but,
He won the Masters Nationals, and then he decided he wanted to do Masters Olympia or something like that. Mm-hmm. And he almost beat Vince Taylor one year, and then they actually did let him beat Vince Taylor. And unfortunately, he passed away. I don't know what happened, if it was a heart attack or something like that. I'd run into his son, believe it or not, at Pearl Harbor. Son worked at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. I was doing a guest posing there, and he said, this was a couple years after he had passed, and he came up to me. He's like, oh, Dave, my father always spoke very highly of you. I said, who's your father? He's like, Don Youngblood. I said, oh, my God. I'm so sorry to hear about what happened. And, he's like, but his dream was to win the Olympia. And he won the Masters Olympia. I said, well, he beat Vince Taylor, and Vince Taylor's still talking about it to this day. So,
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, it is what it is. They're going to have it. And I just, I can't get excited about it. You know.
Like I said, unless Kai and Phil were in it, then it wouldn't. There's nothing really to even get that excited about, because I don't, like you said, I don't think the level of competition from the guys that we know is going to be what we're expecting, because they're not what they used to be anymore.
Well, someone could win the title who never won a big title in their youth, which is even more odd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like somebody, from England or Germany or US or Brazil, some guy 47, and you can look back and say, geez, that's funny. I competed, or someone will say, I competed with him at the, German nationals, and he was fourth every year that, he competed at it. Doesn't mean that he doesn't win the show, this individual, at the Masters Olympia. But the point is that part of like Masters, I think, is connected with this idea of legends.
Right.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, but how can we get excited when we watch, if you're a golf person, you could watch the legends playing golf, the Masters guys, and into their 60s and 70s. And it's enjoyable to watch them because they're competitive against each other. I mean, it's not, obviously we're not judging their physiques, we're judging their acumen at playing golf. But for some reason, that's always been a popular tour in the Masters, segment.
They don't have the Masters NBA or the Masters NFL or the Masters.
That is true. You're right.
Major League Baseball.
Right. I know. It's like we love it, but then we're always disappointed, I think, by it at the end of the day. Ramy's almost 40. I mean, maybe next year he can do it. I don't know when he turns 40.
Well,
when isn't Samson Dowd? How old is he?
I don't know, but what would be the point so they can make $16,000?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but let's say it goes over pretty well this year, and they bring it back next year, and they offer a lot of money. You might see a decent lineup in there.
I mean,
Arnold proved it. Arnold proved it.
What did Arnold prove?
If you put up enough cash, people show up.
Yeah, put up $20,000. Yeah.
You remember that lunatic? I told you, the lunatic Jarka, Lori, who put up $100,000.
Yeah.
Dexter never got the $100,000, but Dexter did that show because it was $100,000. They were giving away.
Yeah.
I think he wound up getting 50, which is still a nice payday for the.
Yeah.
All right. But
I mean, it's people would love to see like Kai and Phil, but we are the most critical. The bodybuilding crew is the most critical fans of all fans in all sports, because in the NFL we could go and we could watch a game and we could say, "Oh, the Bengals stunk,"
Right.
In bodybuilding, we could say Kai or Phil stunk, and then we could, what fans do is they'll say, "This is what he needs to do."
Right.
I mean, talk about Monday Morning Quarterback, which came from football, of course, but people, our fan base is so highly critical that if somebody didn't even look close to their best, would be critical and say, "Why is he even doing this show?" And so, well, there's $500,000. Well, hell, do it for the money. He should have dieted if it was $500,000. And
I have this
to zero.
All right. How about if they could make over 70 division? All right, here's your over 70. Al Beckles.
Yeah.
Right. Robbie Robinson. He's over 70. Lou Ferrigno, over 70, and Arnold. How about that? Would that draw a crowd?
Skip Robinson's we should put in there too.
By the way, he got a shoulder replacement?
He's actually as good, if not better, an interview than Arnold.
Yeah, he was pretty good. I did enjoy it.
Skip with one or two beers in him, maybe better than Arnold as an interviewer.
Arnold would be like screwing with Lou backstage, 50 years later, and Bill Grant, we could throw him in that lineup too.
Oh, Bill Grant, what a youthful body he's got.
Yeah, he still looks great.
Yeah, incredible.
Isn't it funny though, Chris, how all those guys from the 70s, aside from Franco, who we knew had a problem health-wise, all those guys are alive still.
Yeah, Bill Grant was Mr. World, and he lived in New Jersey, and he came out. He came out to the bodybuilding camp in 1987 when I was working there. He was there, I
Oh, he
think.
did? I didn't even know that.
He lived there. I don't know what they just let him live there, and he was best friends with Jerry Branham.
Right.
And Bill Grant would all day long would crack people up. It would half the day he'd be impersonating Joe Weider.
Oh, he did a Weider impression too? I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah, it was great. And then he would tell Arnold stories, and then he'd train a little bit. And what a social butterfly, I don't know if you've ever met him, Dave. Look at that.
Yeah, I'm very actually good friends with Bill. I've interviewed him many times, but he's come on my TV show because he was promoting a bodybuilding show in Jersey for a while. But he's a character. He's a character, and you know what? He knows all. The guy has got to be over 70. He remembers every story from back in the day.
Oh, that's what Dave. He told those in 87. He told every single story all day long, all summer long.
That's funny. Here's Bill Grant at 73 years old, right here, Chris. Hold on, I'll pull him up. I'm telling you, I think he might take Arnold and Louis. Look at it; he's still got biceps and everything.
Yeah, he looks really good for his age. That's crazy.
I'll tell you one thing. I think Robbie looks the best, though. Robbie.
I don't know. Bill looks pretty damn good there.
Well, maybe they could get Bill versus Robbie. Because probably Louis and Arnold wouldn't do. But
well, Bill's
they could definitely
Bill would already tell you that he'd knock him out with the front double bicep. You'd kill him. You know Bill, right?
Robbie Robinson's got a pretty good front double bicep though too. Even at his age. And I don't know why Robbie's been walking around really shredded. I've noticed lately.
Well, he's like you. When you get old, the body fat goes to zero.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any he's still got a good physique. My physique looks horrendous, compared to his.
He never stopped training. Maybe he's going to do a Jay. Jay's wants to get in shape at 50. Robbie's wants to be in his best shape at. How old is Robbie?
He's in his 70s too. There he is. Look at that physique. He doesn't even have any loose skin.
Yeah, how old is he here though, Dave?
He's in his 70s here.
Is he 70 there?
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's like you said. It's like I know you don't want to watch the beauty pageant from when the girls were young, but I think there's like a sentimental nostalgic aspect to the.
There is, but you don't have to go back there, Dave. You know what? You nailed it. You know what I do? I spend a silly amount of time. I go look at old pictures of Portland, Maine, old pictures of Miami Beach. And I love to look at the Miami Beach, the small hotels and the pools that have that slide. They had Olympic-sized pools back then, and the way the people dressed. But I don't want to go back to that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, because it's not the same anymore, right?
Yeah, you can go look at that stuff, But to go back there, we have this idea.
By the way,
we're going to get Samir in the show, and we're going to go back to the '83 Olympia.
By the way, my sister who runs laser hair removal clinics, they're building one, and I think they're building two. There are two in Maine, but one of them is definitely in Portland. I gotta get.
Oh, really? Yeah, you gotta give me the address.
She's like, it's going to be super high end. I said, well, Chris always tells me that place is loaded with very wealthy people, so makes sense.
Yeah,
they must have done their due diligence there.
Dave, it's sick. If you gave me the address, I'd know the exact building. The exact
I said Chris could potentially be your landlord. I said,
I'll tell you what was there before they moved in, how long they were there.
I'm going to get the address for you. I'll get the address. I said Chris potentially could be the landlord. I said I have to find out. He owns about.
It can only be 6 different. It can only be 6 different streets, most likely if it's high end, and I'll send you those streets.
Very high end salon. So, all right. I wanted to bring up. Obviously, we get the New York Pro coming up in a couple weeks, right?
7 weeks.
Hamburger. Are you heading over there?
I don't know if I'm going or not.
No. All right.
Yeah, busy schedule. I got carpets to clean.
We haven't seen Carlos Thomas since he won that Nationals a couple years ago. He's making his pro debut here. He took 2 years to do it, which I think was smart. No rush. Talk to me about Carlos Thomas and what do you think his odds are of potentially winning the show?
He's got to be considered a favorite simply because he's got a power physique with quads. And what's better than a power physique with quads,
Great legs, yeah.
he's really good.
I mean, I know Blessing Awadibu is doing it as well, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other guys I'm probably forgetting. But the unknown factor here seems to be Carlos, because we haven't seen him. Let me pull up this picture again. We haven't seen him since he competed. There's those crazy quads you're talking about.
Yeah, those are nuts.
And he's young. He's got fresh muscle. You always say, you cannot discount fresh muscle.
Yeah,
those are like Ramy quads now, aren't they?
Yeah,
Holy man!
Yeah, they're nuts. His quads are nuts. And he's got balance. He's got balance. I mean, it's not like he's got a small upper body.
No.
Granted, his legs are phenomenal, but he's got a great upper body. He's got great arms. He could use more back thickness, but he's been off for 2 years, so maybe maybe his back has improved. His father will be there screaming like a lunatic,
which always helps, right? I love it. His father reminds me of John De La Rosa's father. Very, very dedicated to the whole process of seeing his son succeed.
Oh yeah, his biggest fan. Nothing better than that.
Yeah, because I helped him when a lot of people know I helped him when he was younger and when he was just getting into it. And his father and I used to talk on the phone for a long time, and just because his father was interested in his success, and that was great. I would always say to myself, I cannot imagine my father calling anyone up and talking to them about my potential in anything, whether it be soccer or running or anything like it.
No, it's great. That's like I said, it's his biggest fan.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think. Oh, here's an interesting. Look at this shot right here, Chris. Hold on. You'll dig this one. You'll dig this one. There's your boy, Andrew Jacked.
Yep, Andrew Jacked with Carlos Jacked.
This was last year before the Texas Pro, so that was a while ago. How is Andrew doing, by the way?
I don't know. I don't hear from him. You know me. I'm not. I don't stay like.
Is he still with Psycho?
Yeah, he's gonna go. I think his plans are gonna go back. I don't know when. But I don't think like now. Maybe towards maybe.
What's his? But what's his residency? Does he live in Dubai?
I don't know. I mean, I know he lives in Dubai. I don't know if he's a resident. I don't know what the legal.
Yeah. He was living in Dubai before that, so he went back to Dubai, and then I guess he'll probably plan on coming back, I guess, for his Olympia, preparation, right?
Yeah, maybe the last 10 weeks or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. He likes it there in Dubai. He loves it.
For those people who have not gone to Dubai, and I've been there in the 90s when it was just being built and there was nothing there, and I was there in the last couple of years, when it's been basically Las Vegas times 100. It's a fun place to live. I mean, if they do have different customs there, and you have to know about, look what happened to Sergio Oliva, right? I mean, there are some things that are different. It is a different culture there, but it's beautiful. I mean, the place is just like when you go to the Dubai Mall there, which is where that Burj, the Burj building is, which is the tallest building in the world. When you go to that mall, okay, if you think you've been to a shopping mall, and I'm from Long Island, Chris, Long Island has the best shopping malls, the biggest shopping malls, and the most shopping malls, at least they used to. This mall is so big that it makes every mall in Long Island look like you can jam it into this one mall. It's huge.
Yeah.
And that's the magnitude of everything in that town, essentially. And they love bodybuilding, and probably the gyms there, they probably get the carte blanche to do whatever they want. If I was a single guy and I didn't have any place to go and I had an offer there, I could see myself training. I understand why Sergio's over there,
Well, there was it's getting more expensive there, that's for sure.
It was never that cheap to be there.
It was, when you were there the first time, it was dirt cheap.
Well, because there was nothing there. But if you're a citizen there, it's a lot better for you. I think you get a lot. I don't think you pay taxes there, but I think if you're someone from out of state, I think you have to. They're starting some taxes up. There used to be no taxes.
Well, there's an article in today's Bloomberg about it getting expensive, and while there's no taxes, there's all kinds of fees on things.
Oh, okay.
Unlike here, where we have fees and taxes. We always have.
That's true. It's funny because I went and I got which one of you? Oh, Sammy. What's his name? Sammy
Trudeau.
Yeah. Yeah. Was it Trudeau? Is that his name?
Yeah. Sorry, Dave.
I'm
combining the Emir. The Emir.
I haven't heard from him in a couple years. That's why I can't remember.
The Emir of Canada
at the Dubai Mall. He took Sid and I for sushi, and we had a great meal with him there. And it was, I think he paid for it. I don't even remember, but it was not crazy expensive at all. And we had a ton of food, and it was absolutely delicious. I would in a million years, if you would have just plopped me into that seat in that restaurant in that mall, I could have thought I was in New York. Or Las Vegas. I never would have in a million years thought I was in Dubai. That's how incredible that place is, and that's why a lot of people live there. And it's bodybuilder friendly. Speaking of bodybuilder friendly, have you seen what they wanted the FDA is trying to do here, or the DEA, I should say?
No, they want to get rid of vitamin C.
Yeah, that'll be the next thing. I did a little rant on it, but they're trying to make it so that men can't get TRT, thyroid hormone replacement, testosterone replacement therapy via telemedicine. So, telemedicine became very big during COVID because no one wanted to leave the house. So a lot of doctors did all their, appointments with people via telemedicine, and a lot of the laws changed.
Why? I can't even uncover my eyes. So do you see how that pause? That was a legit pause. I could not uncover my eyes because I couldn't think that they want to ban TRT via telemedicine. Well,
yes, so in other words, they want to make it.
Let Dave Palumbo have to go to his doctor in a horse and buggy. Right. Let's go back to the old
people
days.
Have no time to do anything anymore, and they want to make it so that you have to go to a doctor every 30 days and get your prescription renewed, but women can get like birth control pills for probably a year straight and they don't have to see a doctor, So the whole thing is I believe the whole thing is motivated by money, of course. And I think that what happened was the government felt like, no one cares about testosterone replacement and no one's going to take this stuff. And once the longevity clinic, the anti-aging society, got wind of this and started educating people as to how good they feel on testosterone, especially, a lot of men have very low testosterone levels, and you put a guy on testosterone and it changes his whole life. Just like for a lot of women need to be on estrogen replacement. It's no different. As you get older, you don't produce as much sometimes.
I need to be on caffeine, Dave.
I'm afraid to see what you would do on testosterone replacement. Holy crap.
Oh, I probably work with 18-hour days.
Yeah, you probably.
Hey,
so
yeah. No, there was a school shooting recently. Can you imagine if it was someone who worked out,
Yeah. Or they found a vial of TRT in his house.
If he was on TRT, they would say bodybuilders,
steroids. Bodybuilder on steroids. Yeah.
Roid rage.
It could be Pee Wee Herman who had a bottle of testosterone. They would say it was the testosterone that caused him to kill people.
Well, he never considered bodybuilder using illegal.
Here's the thing. This is what
I think
my beautiful wife Amanda.
Oh, cameo.
But imagine this. Okay, this is really what the motivation is. I believe that the government hit a point where they said, "Wait a minute, a lot of people are taking testosterone now, and because a lot of people are taking testosterone, we want to control it. We don't like the fact that these compounding pharmacies are making it, and no one has to buy it from Upjohn anymore, like they used to have to in the past. They used to have to buy depot testosterone, if you remember. And now the drug companies are getting mad because they're losing all this money to these compounding pharmacies. So I think that the government and the drug companies got together and said, how could we put a kibosh on this? Well, very easily. We just take it out of the hands of the rejuvenation clinics and we put it into the hands of the doctors. We tell people they have to go to the doctor every 30 days, and then the doctors can only write a prescription. The only prescription you can write is for name brand testosterone, right? Because there is no compounded pharmacy testosterone that your doctor could write for you. And that's number one, puts the money back into the hands of the drug companies. Drug companies take that money, put it into the coffers of the re-election campaign, politicians, and then everyone's happy.
Dave,
That's my belief.
It's politics 101.
Yep.
Lobbying 101.
Yeah, it's sad. You know, and a lot of people are freaking out.
Rodney Dangerfield scene from Back to School, whatever, when he went back to school. Like you have to bribe the politicians. You don't bribe them; they're just lobbyists, and you pay for your quote opinion.
Right.
And then it gets jammed through.
It's just, you know, it's sad because, you know what, it's you know, it's something that a lot of people really do well on, and it's a convenience. You know, it's not like these rejuvenation clinics are not doing the blood work and the requisite, you know, telemedicine visits. Because I go to Titan Medical Center, and even though they sponsor our site, and even though I'm friends with them, every 6 months I got to do a telemedicine visit with them, and, you know, go over my blood work, and they, you know, they'll ask me if I have any questions, and they're very knowledgeable. So it's not like people just handing out free prescriptions. It's the fact that the testosterone is not coming from a, you know, CVS. It's coming from a compounding pharmacy that's being generically made. And the only person making money off that is the compounding pharmacy and the clinic that sells the stuff. And I just think the government is mad about it. And, you know, it's sad because we were making so much progress. Because you know what the real solution would be? It would be to decriminalize testosterone. Why is testosterone a controlled 3 substance anyway? Estrogen isn't, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't used any in a long time, estrogen or test, Dave.
Amin Ali had a great idea. He said, what you have to do is you have to tell people, or you have to go to your physician and say, look, I know I'm a biological male, but I feel like I'm a biological. I identify gender-wise as being a female, but I want to become a transgender female. So I need my testosterone. If you do that, they can't deny you, right?
Yeah, you get it in a second.
Yeah, because any transgender people, they never have a problem getting testosterone, right?
I don't know.
They hand them out. They hand the bottles out like, you know, they do free condoms at a clinic,
like milk duds.
So that's where we're at with that. Now, there was speaking of transgender, there was a I also did another rant. I was busy today on this. There's a powerlifting meet up in, I guess it was Alberta, Canada. And I guess the Powerlifting Federation up there has a law that if you decide like that you identify as a female, that you can compete with the women. So in other words, if your son woke up one morning and said, Dad, you know, I kind of feel like a woman today. I'm going to go do a powerlifting meet, and I'm going to do the women's division, that they could not say no. There's no hormone requirements. There's no nothing. That's the rule. So this guy, Avi, who runs the powerlifting organization up there, entered into the meet. He's got a full beard. He's a man. There's no feminine inklings about this guy. He wanted to prove a point. He said, because the current world record holder up in that area is a transgender male to female conversion. She's been supposedly transgender for 20 years, but she doesn't, you know, she's a pretty big girl. And he entered the meet. He broke the world record by 100 pounds, and now he's the world record holder because he decided that morning that he felt like he was going to identify as a female. And he didn't do it because he was trying to steal any thunder from anyone or take world records. He did it because he wanted to make a point that the whole system is completely broken down. Everyone is afraid to give their true opinion of what's going on, and it's ruining women's sports. What's your take on it?
How dare you politicize that powerlifting meet, Dave, with your phony
rhetoric,
anti-transgender rhetoric? I think that the idea that it defies common sense. Full stop. You can talk in circles and forever about it, but and that's why you use the ludicrous example of what if my son woke up today and says, I want to do the state of Maine powerlifting championships. Oh, good. But as a female, you're a male. You have massive advantages. Though I wouldn't want to be a male playing one-on-one basketball with the girl from Iowa. I don't know if you saw her, Dave.
Yeah,
I forget her name, but she is like Larry Bird with female chromosomes. Incredible. You never want to be one-upped, though. Men don't want to be one-upped by a better female athlete. But the idea that it defies logic and common sense. And then, of course, someone may say, well, you have no common sense and you have no logic. And then when we get into that, then the conversation is over.
Look, there's a lot of transgender people out there nowadays, and a lot of them have, and I support everyone's decision. If you're a biological male, but you decide you want to identify as a female or vice versa, I have no problem with that. But why not create a league for transgenders so that they're competing in an equal playing field, because they're all doing the same thing, and, think about, and I use this as an example in my rant, in the bodybuilding industry. Remember when it was just bodybuilding, men and women, and then they decided to add the fitness division, and people were like upset about it. They're like, oh, this is not bodybuilding. This is, what are they doing? And it's going to ruin the integrity of the league, but it didn't. What it did, it gave other people an option who didn't want to be big freaky bodybuilding women, that they can do something different. And then they started figure, of course, and all the other divisions. But it's the same thing. You got to create a level playing field. There's nothing wrong. Yes, the first couple of years, the division might be a little weird, whether it be powerlifting or swimming or whatever the division is. But eventually you get enough people involved in it, and it would get competitive, and maybe people would even enjoy watching it, So
how would I guess the person who may be able to answer that is, in 1976, does Bruce Jenner think that he would have won the women's decathlon?
Yeah, right. The heptathlon.
Yeah. Even if he was already in the process of, becoming a female or a woman, rather.
Would have destroyed everyone. Yeah, he would have destroyed everyone. Easily. I mean, we're not at that point yet in bodybuilding, but you could even have a bodybuilding transgender division if that's really if there was enough people and it warranted it. I wouldn't be against it. It would be better than, although I'm sure there's probably some bikini competitors out there now that are probably men. And I don't think there are any, I shouldn't say that, because I actually did a diet for one person who was a transgender. She was a female to male conversion, and she was competing in the men's division, and she was doing well. She was winning her class because she was small. So she was like bantamweight. But, if there was enough people, there's nothing wrong with having that division too. So I think that we're so afraid, the politicians and the people who make the rules, of being canceled by social media, that no one's afraid to act. Everyone just is like, oh, we don't want to say anything. Well, we know it's ridiculous, but we're not saying a word. We're not going to say it. They're going to cancel us, So
I think that's a big part of it. I think that's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
I think that's why you hear there's a saying of the silent majority.
Sure.
Sometimes the majority is they're not audible. They wait, or they sit on their hands, or they cover their eyes, or like I did when you told me they're taking away testosterone, or their ears. It comes to the point where they say, okay, enough is enough.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't think I think a lot of people who might not be sure on the issue would be able to take a different stance if their daughter was competing in swimming.
How about soccer? My two daughters play soccer.
Any sport.
I don't want my daughters getting hurt on the field because there's a boy playing with them who's whatever, identifies as a female, fine, but it's just that much stronger and that much faster and and it's going to take away maybe a potential scholarship from her, or just physically get hurt,
Yeah.
From it. So anyway, give us your opinion in the comments below. Let us know what you think. And also let us know who you think might win the New York Pro. Will it be Carlos Thomas in his pro debut? That's going to be exciting. Also, oh, by the way, if you're against the whole of them banning the TRT, via telemedicine, there's a website. If you go to the rant I did on the testosterone replacement stuff, I think it's called Register Government. I can't remember the name of it. The link is up in that video. Go on there and don't write like "F you government, you suck." That's not going to help us. These politicians want to see people put articulate responses. Why don't you like this law? Why is this something that bothers you? That why should we not put this law into action? And explain. Say, look, I work full time. I don't have time to go to a clinic, every 30 days. Telemedicine has been a savior for me, so that I can have the time to be able to do what I need. You got to put like logical stuff on there, because if you don't, then we look like a bunch of meatheads, and that's the last thing you want to do.
Maybe it was Kathy Wood, stock picker extraordinaire, because she lost her shirt in Teledoc, and then she doubled down on it and lost her shirt, bra, and blouse. Someone had texted me this morning, Dave, who listens to the show, said he loves when I work in Kathy Wood, who's a Wall Street lady, stock picker. But I have no idea how I even work it in sometimes. I don't mean to work it in. It just
you
radar screen.
The show, definitely, yeah.
So she did, though. She thought Teledoc was gonna transform medicine, and that the stock was gonna go from it went from 7 to 70, and then to 5, and then at 5 she bought even more, and I think it went down to 2.
Now, why is that?
Because of the model, the profitability. At the end of the day, stocks, companies need to be profitable, and they, it's a great idea, but how do you monetize it?
Yeah, that's Kathy Wood right there, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh well, maybe we can get her to advocate
negatively about me. She may sue me for defamation.
Yeah, maybe we can get her to advocate for testosterone.
Yeah. Maybe write Kathy Wood. She would be the lobbyist. That's how it works. You don't write your congressman. You write Kathy Wood. Right. She writes a check to everyone else. Everyone else says, I came up with this great idea that we should preserve telemedicine or TRT.
Right. If I were a big rejuvenation clinic like Titan Medical or something like that, I would get together with a bunch of the bigger clinics and put together some kind of a lobbyist group, because it's definitely in their best interest to keep that going, because if not, they're going to lose a lot of out-of-state, people who can't show up in person.
More politics. Now you can, I believe, where you live, you'll be able to carry a gun now concealed without registering it with anyone.
Oh, really? I thought that's already the law in Florida, no?
But God forbid Dave Palumbo wants to call into his doctor 25 miles across town on a Friday and get testosterone replacement. Yeah, how many milligrams do you need? I need 120 mgs a week. Okay, 120 mgs a week.
I took 100 milligrams the other week, for a couple of weeks. I was rejuvenating my foot, and my levels were 1,100, 1,200 on blood work. They were really high. I had to cut it back. I don't know why. For some reason, I utilized TRT dosages really well. I could take 50, 60 milligrams a week of testosterone, which sounds like a joke, and I'm high from that. So,
well, because Dave, you haven't been on bridges and tunnels and highways cycles forever. So 100 mgs is 1,100.
Yeah, but you know what? It's what I would try to explain to people is you have to go for blood work to see what your levels are on the stuff you're taking, because if you're taking TRT, you don't want to go too high, because then you get out of that physiological range and you lose the health benefits from it. So you might grow more muscle, but now you're doing a cycle. So you got to differentiate between the two. All right, I got to wrap this up. I got my wife here spending some quality time with me. Chris, I know you got your family calling to you. I did miss you last week, even though we had a little cameo.
You came in for a starring role. You were on 19 different drugs from the hospital, and you took down Bob Chicken Little in one sentence.
I don't even remember what I was.
I don't even remember what you were talking about.
I will say this. Yeah, I am happy that you and Sid, that the show came out great. People gave me good feedback on it. All right, we're going to wrap this up as we say every week here at Heavy Muscle Radio.
The truth hurts.
Good night, everyone. We'll see you next week.